How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. My name is Jason. We're outside. I'm going to sit here today, okay? It's time to plant some potatoes, but we're not at that point just yet. We've got our seed potatoes here, as you see, and many of you have watched our last year's potato harvest video. We got like 77,000 views on it, okay? So that's a lot for us. Obviously it's average for some people, but it's a lot for us, and a lot of people have come here to our channel through that video. And so we just want to kind of go through our process here of how we plant our potatoes, okay? There's a couple of different ways you can do things, and we've done them both, by the way. We've done them both ways, but we plant them in grow bags. If you haven't watched, we plant them in grow bags. They're just cheap fabric pots from Amazon, and we use a basic potting mix, okay? But before you get into the soil and the medium and exactly what's going on with planting them, you got to get your taters prepared, right? These are basic seed potatoes that we bought from our old feed store. We don't buy our chicken feed there anymore, but we do still go there to buy seed potatoes because they got a good price. We bought 8.5 pounds of seed potatoes, okay? There's several here of all kinds of shapes, sizes. Obviously, you see the different ways, but they've obviously sprouted, okay? See, that's what you need with a seed potato. Now, as you see, some of these have more sprouts than others, right? See, sprout, 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 all kinds of little sprouts on that one. And some of these big ones, it's a bigger one, but it's only got the ones on top. So because of that, you don't really want to waste those sprouts if you can help it. I mean, you could very easily just go ahead and plant this seed potato, right? See, even though it's got 4 different sprouts on it, straight in your soil, just like this, sprouts up, right? And have 4 things going every which way. Or you could take it, find 2 sprouts, see right there, and 2 sprouts right here, see, 1, 2, right there, and you could cut it and get 2 seed potatoes out of it, right? Now, obviously, a lot of people have seen that happen, and you gotta be careful not to cut yourself. Be aware, because you don't want to cut yourself trying to plant potatoes. I mean, how embarrassing would that be if you go to the hospital with a sliced off nub on your for a thumb, and they say, "Well, how'd you do this, sir?" And I said, "Well, I was planting potatoes." I think they might look at you a little funny, because how do you cut your finger off planting potatoes, right? That's how you do it, by not paying attention to what you're doing. So see, watch them nubbers. You don't want to slice one open and get yourself an embarrassing story. Correct? So then, very simple. So now we got this here and this here and this here. So now we got 2. But now the only issue is these are damp, right? They're fresh cut potatoes, so they're damp. You could theoretically go ahead and plant. We don't suggest that, okay? Only because this moisture can rot, okay? That becomes the problem in reality, is that you don't want to put these in there and just let them rot. It's very susceptible to doing so by this, and then you got no seed potatoes. You go from having 1 really good one to having none instead of having 2 good ones. So take them just like this, and we're gonna set them over here on this tray, which you can't see at this current time. we're gonna set them on this tray just like this, okay? We'll take, and you don't want to damage this sprout, okay? You don't want to knock them off, because if you hit them hard enough, if you hit that sprout hard enough, it'll fall off of there, and you may not have any potato, right? That's not good either. So we're gonna take it just like this. And you need to do your darndest to not put pressure on them sprouts, but also to leave this out to dry, okay? And what that's going to do, to dry, it's going to almost like scab over, okay? Now, people call this chitting potatoes, C-H-I-T-T-I-N-G, chitting, or chitting, right? Or you just, whatever. That's what they call it, I guess, is chitting, or chitting. But I'm just calling them cutting them up, right? Now, you prefer to have 2 sprouts on each one, okay? That's what you look for, because that just works better that way, right? But you could see, like, this one's kind of funky, all right? we're gonna look at him and analyze him here. You see, we got good sprouts all up here and one good sprout over here. Now that's one really good sprout over here, and the possibility to get more sprouts coming out of these spots. Okay, see that? So it's possible. Just try to get more bang for your buck, right? To cut this right here. Okay, it is very possible. In fact, I think I'm going to try that. So now what we're going to do is leave him just like this. See, these potatoes are very important. It's a big stinking deal planting your potatoes, right? And we've planted them in the ground, and we planted them in grow bags. In the ground is more difficult for us simply because we had some kind of tunnel environment who decided he wanted the roots instead of us. I believe it was a vole. I believe voles are the ones that go after starchy roots, and so obviously this is a starchy root. So if we believe a vole tunneled under there, because we pulled the plants up and had nothing but little nubs of roots on the bottom. So all the actual root was gone. Had these big, tall, beautiful potato plants. Looked magnificent. We were excited, and then Angela kind of was like, "Hey, I think something's tunneled under here and got them. I'm not sure." And so, sure enough, very, very, very little potatoes for us to get that year. So we decided to go to grow bags, because grow bags, it's very hard for something to tunnel up under because there's fabric there, right? So it works better for us in this environment and the way we operate. It works a heck of a lot better. Just go ahead and put them in grow bags. It works really darn good, and it seems to have been the most productive for us for sure. So some of y'all may say, well, why can't I just plant this thing whole? And honestly, we've done the same thing. We've planted them whole plenty of times. But what it does do is, see, okay, this one, like this one right here, we may or may not cut him because he only has 2 good plants coming out of him, okay? But now if you take this one right here, he may be little, but there's 1, 2, 3, there's at least 5 sprouts coming out of it. So if you plant this one here, that means you got 5 plants coming up out of the one thing. So it's too many plants for that area. What you're looking to do is I mean, like you might get more potatoes out of it, but there'll be more smaller ones. If you're looking for the big honking potatoes, then you may want to spread them plants out a little bit and give them more room to grow. See, because if we did this and we put 3 seed potatoes in a bag that all look similar to this, then all of a sudden we got, 10 to 12 plants inside this 10 or 15 gallon grow bag, which is more than we need. Too much root space, and so then you're binding up your plants and not allowing your potatoes room to grow, and it becomes much more difficult. You might get a bunch of medium to little ones, but not the super impressive ones, and it's almost a waste at that point, because if you plant one like this now, let a plant grow out of it, then you're gonna have one really darn good plant who might just blow your mind at how much it can produce. Because honestly, we had a really effective year last year growing potatoes, but I think we can do better. So I mean, like, I'm not saying we did terrible. We didn't. We planted 3 grow bags of Kennebec, Kennebec. I don't, one of the others, E or an A, I forget. Planted 3 grow bags of them. Okay, like I think they were 15 gallon grow bags, I think. And we got a good amount of potatoes, like 18 pounds of potatoes out of those 3 maybe. This is pretty solid, right? Then we experimented with some other stuff, the russets and Yukon Golds that we sprouted from the store. They didn't do that well, honestly. They did mediocre at best. But these are also really good potatoes. And so this year we're just doing the Kennebecs, and we want to make sure that we do them correctly, right? And so we're going to plant as many bags as we can. I've 8.5 pounds and 6 of these seed potatoes going to my mother-in-law. She wants to plant a couple of grow bags, and so she'll take some of these for her. But we're going to take the rest of these and do what we can with them. And I would hope, I don't know, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 13 total right now. I'll split this one up a little bit. I'd like to get to 18. That would give us 6 grow bags. I think that's a good idea. but we'll see what we can get to. And one last one before we go, I'll show you this one. Since he's got so many sprouts on him, we'll get it together. You want to make sure you get the sprouts facing the same way, okay? Like this one here, he's a little tough because you make sure all the sprouts are facing the same way, because that way you can plant the potato clearly in one direction with the sprouts all going one way instead of spreading out like this, because some of them times the sprouts may not make it up to the surface. So you would like to do so if you could, but I think, so it looks like the option here is going to be going this way, I believe. Yeah, that makes more sense. So we're going to have these two sprouts and then these sprouts right here. So there we go, and that makes more sense. So now instead of sprouts going like this, you plant this like this, and you got these sprouts here going the same direction, and then these sprouts here going the same direction, fairly much. So hopefully that is going to help us plant our potatoes more effectively and more efficiently, and overall we're hoping more productively, right? So thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it. Hey, my name is Jason. This is Our Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you and goodbye.